Welcome to the Creative Crew Podcast. I am Rob Forte, and I'm joined by Nimish here. And, we got...
Thanks for inviting me to the show.
Michelle wasn't actually able to make it to the show today, so Nimish was kind enough here to join me. And we're going to be talking a little bit about cinematography and videography.
And another word, filmography.
Filmography.
We just made up that word.
A complex process of combining the words film and ography.
Yep, ography. It's a real thing.
So anyway, are you talking about our different processes? What is your approach to putting the video together?
Well, it depends. Are we talking like school fun project, or are we talking like cinematic type short films, or what are you saying?
This would be like more like cinematic stuff.
All right, so yeah, if I were like the director or whatever, I'd have my own crew. The crew would be like me as the director, of course, right? And then we'd have a couple of people working on scripts, and then we'd have a couple of people working sound, lighting, props, and of course we need the actors, right? But we need everyone in those individual categories who do what they do best, which is that category. So if someone deals with sound good, we need a sound guy. And if someone deals with lighting good, we need a sound guy. I mean, not sound, lighting guy. All right? So... so it's best to have everyone that can do their own perfect skills and then combine them together, and that's where I would come in as a director and bring all those people together to work on this project. Yeah,
it's definitely one of the more important jobs of the business is the director's job of making sure everything is together and working as one whole unit. Like a lot of the bigger pictures, they'll split up into different groups, and they'll have different groups recording on their own, which I think is really scary, to say the least. If you have multiple directors at two different areas trying to convey the same message, but with two different processes, which I think would be very interesting to work with, because even working with like music and other stuff, it's quite different in how people work, and it's really interesting to see how other people work on the same concept.
Yeah, here's the thing though. If you have two directors, what would really be bad is if they didn't have the same idea in mind.
That would be absolutely terrible.
That would be terrible. So that's why I like sticking with one director and just working under one vision. Of course, everyone can improv during the moments, but everyone has the same general idea under one director.
Yeah, some of my favorite moments in movies have been from from all the different actors doing improv, which that'll come at a different time. But anyway, you talked a little bit about crew. What would be your optimal equipment? Besides, like, would you be like using like Phantom cameras, Red cameras?
Oh no. Well, optimally, yes, but realistically, no.
If you had millions of dollars to spend, let's say,
then yeah, I'd be going for those gigantic Sony cameras. You know those?
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, because those I actually have seen, and they're like phenomenal. Like, if I would use that or a DSLR, I'd definitely use that. And then all those lenses, though.
Those are expensive.
Yeah. If I had millions of dollars, but no.
Even doing photography on my end, lenses are just incredibly expensive. And when you even get into film lenses are actually cheaper than normal like camera lenses, which is surprising.
Yeah,
but they don't have... A lot of film lenses don't have autofocus, which you don't really... At points, you really don't want autofocus.
Yeah, sometimes you need to focus on something really close or something really far.
Or you could have like those different shots where you like, say I'm focusing on you, but then something happens in the background, and I just quick switch focus to the guy that's in the background doing something, and have it just like turn your focus back to you, and like, what?
Yeah, I definitely use a normal photography lens for my filming, but it's like a normal zoom lens. Goes from 18 to 200, and you can focus it, and I really like the focus because just like you said, you can change the focus to whatever you like. So what camera do you like using?
Right now we're actually recording on a Sony camcorder, but really I would like to start using my DSLR. But the thing that's really been holding back me using my DSLR is me not having a Steadicam.
Oh.
and me not having appropriate lighting, because as you can see in here, this definitely isn't optimal lighting for a DSLR to be taking video. Would you say that's pretty fair?
I would say you could just put in a couple of like lamps.
Yeah.
That direct here.
Yeah, but neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But I would like to switch to use more of my DSLR than the Sony camcorder.
Yeah, the thing is, DSLRs are heavier a little bit, but
I'm a big dude. You think I care about how heavy something is?
Nah. So there's this one Steadicam which I use. It's called a Spider Steady.
Okay.
If you know what that is.
I believe you explained it to me before.
Yeah. So it's basically about like this big. Like you can compact it into this big.
Okay.
All right. And then if you pull out the legs, there's like 2-3 legs or something. You fold in. That's why it's called a Spider Steady. You can fold in many ways. So one position's like this, where you can hold the camera and hold the legs, and then have the camera sitting down on a platform. On other ways, where you can have a leg on your shoulder, like a shoulder mount.
Okay.
One in your shoulder, so it's actually against you. There's multiple ways that which you can use it. So
yeah, that's actually really interesting. I might have to look into that, because those glide cams are really expensive.
I want one.
Like the glide cam HDs, those are pretty expensive, as I'm sure you've seen. I would like to get one of those, but I was looking at some of the actual brand newer, a couple of their products, and it seems like there's a couple good alternatives to that.
Yeah, and then Devin Graham, right?
Yeah, Devin Graham.
Devin Graham,
Supertramp.
Devin Supertramp on YouTube. Go search him up. He's like the best. So he has his own signature glide cam. So I think Glide Cam actually spoke with him, and it's called Glide Cam Devin Graham Signature Edition. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, since he's been using it a lot for all his videos.
Okay. Yeah. I know I was looking at, I think it was the HD 2000 or 4000, I can't remember. But both of those are like pretty expensive, like $300, $400, $500.
Yeah, they don't come cheap.
Yeah, I was looking at a couple of different ones, and man, I wish I had money to blow on that, because I'm gonna be a poor college student soon. That realization hit, and it was like, I'm gonna be thousands of dollars in debt in a year.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be absolutely wonderful, because school is very expensive if you want to do media stuff.
It is, yeah, and then all the equipment's pretty expensive also, so you're just going to go into more and more debt until you can finally break that line of here I am into the world.
Yeah, broadcast and audio production is pretty much my domain. So,
which is what we're doing here, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing here. It's pretty fun time, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. So, what were we saying next?
What's your usual? Because you edit your own videos, right?
For the most part.
So what is your usual process for editing?
So I use Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere Pro with After Effects, and while I was using Final Cut Pro, it was a really simple process. It was just importing videos, sometimes photos, into the program itself, and then you just click the selection that you want of the clip, you bring it down to the timeline, and you can color correct it, you can do some audio stuff a little bit. It's not that advanced anymore as like other Final Cuts before, and like Final Cut 7, Final Cut 8 or something. But yeah, you can do the basic stuff on Final Cut. It's like iMovie, I want to say, but I don't want to say that.
Isn't Final Cut
more advanced iMovie?
Oh, you could say that. But isn't it an Apple product as well?
It is.
You work on an Apple, don't you?
I have a Mac, yes, and I have a PC, yes. All right. So
I'm a Mac. I'm a PC. Wait a second.
That makes me a Linux.
Editing on a Linux, that's an interesting idea.
Someone should make a program for Linux.
I do really like Linux. I actually do have a virtual desktop on my computer that
nice.
Works as a Linux.
Yeah,
And
so
this computer actually just updated to Windows 10 today.
that's impressive.
I've been part of
No.
I've been part of the Insider program for a while for Windows 10. I've been waiting for it to come out, and it's just as glorious as I remember it
Do
was.
you remember how big the file was, the download file?
No, I remember during the Insider program it was like 2.2 gigs.
Oh, not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. But and all my stuff is still saved on this computer. Nothing.
That's great,
Nothing happened, and
All your video files and everything.
yep, everything still works.
Yep.
So that's wonderful. Windows 10, the new editing program. Editing OS.
Editing OS. There you go.
Editing program.
Okay, so what do you do on your for editing?
Well, my process for editing wise, I will usually cut together everything in Premiere Pro,
All right.
and I'll usually come into it with an idea. I'll usually put together like a PowerPoint or something, just laying out a basic idea, just like taking stock images off the
Yeah.
internet and putting them together. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll take a look at that, and then I'll capture all my shots, and then I'll start importing them. But then I'll start arranging them in sort of that manner that I've preconceived, so I have a sort of an easier time. Not so I'm having to do a whole lot of searching, which I still have to end up doing anyway because my hard drive is always just a mess of files. But,
do you ever put anything in folders or stuff? Or
yeah, I put them in folders,
Okay,
but I just
okay.
have folders inside of folders inside of folders.
Yeah, it's just folderception.
Folderception. I would agree. Is that how you organize all your files too, or am I the only one?
Every day which I record, I put that into a folder.
So you have lots of folders.
Depends on what time of the year.
So what time of year do you have the most folders?
Summer is usually when I'm out of school and out of everything, when I don't have anything to do.
Okay, so when you're doing
Yeah.
most of your recording then.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you just did an interview program. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that ended up going?
I don't know if I'm allowed to share this information or not.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
because
enough.
it's for school. It's for educational purposes, for promotional purposes, and educational purposes. So I don't know if all the contracts and everything would line up. So I don't want to risk anything.
Okay, fair enough. That's another thing you got to worry about when you're in this industry.
Yeah, you got to know
contracts
everything.
upon contracts upon contracts.
Yeah. So the thing is, when I try filming stuff with a large group of people, I typically want to make sure that everyone's fine with everything. And if we're going somewhere, if they're fine taking some equipment and taking some people, some basic stuff. I don't want to
Okay.
be left with one person missing,
Yeah. So that'd be for like when you're doing like your own personal stuff and when you're not having like this huge like blockbuster budget as opposed to you currently.
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
like to have a small crew with you.
Yeah. Definitely a small crew. Can't work with anything more. And also, with your crew, make sure you feed them.
Feed them.
Yeah, you got to feed your crew.
Or they'll be cranky.
Yeah.
They'll be cranky when they're recording. They'll just be groaning.
So yeah, I made this one Doritos commercial, 30 seconds long, right? It actually took 3 hours to put together. Not together, 4 hours maybe. All right, and I fed them Doritos. Just
Oh.
works out.
Oh. So you used the product placement to your advantage to feed your entire crew.
Yep.
That's very clever. That's
And we
very
also
clever.
got some pizza afterwards. But
Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
So anyway, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Do you want to plug any of your own channels?
Well, yeah, I have this one YouTube channel. It's called Aw Show Some. Go check it out. It's awesome with show in between it. So AWESHOWSOME. I don't know if you'll put a video thing somewhere here or
How professional?
here.
How professional do you think I am?
highly.
Okay.
Highly.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll
Very
take being
highly.
highly professional. So there'll be an annotation somewhere here in the video, and yeah, check out his work. I've seen a lot of his stuff going to the fair. What was that festival? that you did
Oh yeah,
the
that
video
was
for?
it was Jamming on Janesville. That was one of them. I just do short stuff, and yeah.
Do you take a lot of your inspiration from Supertramp?
The way that he records, I try to, but I cannot operate optimally like him.
You can't operate that glide cam like he does.
Yeah. It's because I'm short on money, and I have no really job, so I can't make my own money. So I just go off of a short budget.
All right, fair enough. So anyway, this has been episode 5 of the Creative Crew podcast. I hope you will be able to join us next week. You might be back. You might not. I don't know. Michelle might be back. She might not. This crew always rotates. That's the one thing that you never know about this. We may not have a script next week either. You never know. So anyway, we will see you next time here on the Creative Crew podcast.